With the help of many of you in this room, we are going to win the South Carolina primary tomorrow night. Hey, this is exciting. Stick around. We'll all get together, okay? And this November, we're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden. He's a crooked, corrupt, horribly incompetent president who's destroying our country. Other than that, I think he's quite a nice man. No, you know, it's funny. I was talking this day. We had a big rally. We could have filled that arena. It's a 8,000-seat arena. We could have filled that thing 3 times. And I said to the people, I didn't say this often, but I said, look, here's a story. I always respected the office of the president and the presidency so much, and I would never hit Biden very hard. But then he indicted me. He indicted me. I said, I can't believe it. I got indicted. I got impeached, and we won them, thanks to these couple of guys back here. But I got impeached, and Ben was helpful, too, I will tell you. But I got impeached. That was a terrible thing. Should never happen. And it turned out I was right on the impeachment. The phone call turned out to be exactly right. They found the laptop from hell. It confirmed everything that I said. They actually go around now saying, you know, we shouldn't have impeached that guy. He was absolutely right. But we beat him twice. But I got indicted for nothing, for something that is nothing. They were doing it because it's election interference. And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. But it possibly, I don't know, maybe there's something there. But I got also sued, and a lot of it comes right out. All of it comes out of the Justice Department, or it comes out of the Democrat Party. And it's a disgrace. This is like a third world country. And I say often, Alphonse Capone, I don't know if you know who Alphonse Capone is. This was the roughest, meanest gangster in history. I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Scarface. If he had dinner with you and if he didn't like the tone of your voice, he would kill you that night. You would never see your family again. You were dead. I got indicted. My parents are looking down, say, how the hell did this happen to my son? I never heard the word practically. But we're going to do something that's great for our country. We're going to make America great again for everybody, but we're going to make America great again also. And I'm not sure I can say necessarily again in this case for African Americans. We're going to make America great for all of our country, but for African Americans. And maybe we have to leave the word again out. You understand what I mean? Because maybe there is no again. We're going to make it great for you and great for everybody. And that's important. Our country's gone through hell. And in many cases, our country is in hell right now. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast for everybody. And I think you're going to be very happy. A big start tomorrow. We won, as you know, Iowa in a landslide. We won it by twice the record. We had the biggest margin ever times 2. That's not bad. We did a number nobody thought. And in all cases, it's been higher than our expectations or anybody's expectations. We went to, as you know, New Hampshire, and we got more votes than anybody in the history of the New Hampshire primary. Then we went to Virgin Islands and Nevada. In Virgin Islands, we won all of the delegates. In Nevada, we only got 99.7%. We won. So that's 4. And I heard Nikki today. Nikki, wonderful. I will never run against our president. He was a great president. Don't forget, she worked for me. But a lot of people don't realize I actually moved to there because I wanted to get Henry the governorship, if you want to know the truth. That was very important. And he's been a great governor. And Peggy, they've been a great couple. But that was it was a big factor. I said, well, if I move her over, she'll probably be okay, but we'll get a great governor for a state that I love. I've always won here. I won the primaries and I won the elections. We never had a loss here, Ben, right? We never had a loss. But so, Nikki, we're going to see how that all turns out. But we have a big deal tomorrow. And it's so important that everybody get out and vote because we want to win by big margins because the big day is November 5th. And we have to send a signal that we're coming. We have to send a signal. Our message to the black community in this election will be a very simple one. If you want strong borders, safe neighborhoods, rising wages, good jobs, great education, and the return of the American dream, then congratulations, you are a Republican. It's pretty simple. Joe Biden and the radical left have abandoned everything black Americans care about. They've really let you down. Look, we all understand it. They've thrown black Americans overboard, and it's been not a pretty thing to watch. You take a look at some of these inner cities, but I and the Republican Party will fight for the black community like you have never had anybody fight for you before. And with me, you will never be taken for granted. You will never be taken for granted. They've taken you for granted. Do you ever notice they always come around about 2 months before an election? Then they get your votes, and then they go on, and, 4 years later, they come and say hello, or 2 years, depending on what office we're talking about. But they come back and they do nothing. They do absolutely nothing until it's election time. Then they come in, they seek your vote. The future we want is one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to happen. And Joe Biden is actually, his incompetence perhaps, but Joe Biden is a threat to democracy, a real threat to democracy. They're trying to turn that around. They're trying to say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No. When they do weaponization and when they do election interference like a third world country, they're really a threat to democracy. Under my administration, black Americans prospered like no time in the history of our country. We achieved the lowest African American unemployment rate ever recorded. That's a big stat. That's like, Babe Ruth hit the most home runs, or Barry Bonds. I don't know. Who the hell is it? What are we giving Barry Bonds? Huh? It is, I'd see. I know they put an asterisk. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but there's something awfully nice. How many home runs did he hit, Do we give it to Barry Bonds? Tell me. Do we give it to Barry Bonds or Babe Ruth? You got to give it to Barry. Okay, I'm okay with that. Huh? Barry? Okay, I'm with Barry. Hey. Especially tonight, I'm with Barry. I'm with Barry. In front of another group, I may be with the Babe, but I don't. But we also set record low unemployment rate among black young people. It was a record. It was never anything like it. Before the China virus, you don't mind if I call it that. We want to be accurate, It came out of China. It came out of China, right? 1.2 million African Americans lifted themselves out of poverty on the strength of the Trump economy, the most in more than a century. Think of it. It's never happened like that before. Black Americans saw their largest increase in home ownership ever recorded. These are things that happened during this 4-year period, Wesley, right? All of it. The black labor force participation rate reached its highest point in a generation. With Senator Scott, Tim Scott, came to my office. I'll never forget it. I have an idea, he said. We created opportunity zones which drove billions and billions of dollars in wealth to revitalize our most distressed communities, especially in the inner cities. I think it's the greatest economic development program maybe ever, and people don't talk about it. But that was done by Tim Scott, and then he came to see me, and we got it done, and it's been incredible. I got record funding for historically black colleges and universities. The first year I saw like 45 guys come up. They're the heads of most, I think, guys, one wonderful woman, actually. They were the heads of the colleges. And I said, so what are you doing? They said, we come up every year to ask for help, funding. And I said, all right. I didn't think much about it, but I got it for them. The second year they came up, and I said, what are you doing here? Well, we're back again. I said, you have to do this every year? They said, yeah, every year we come up. We never have funding, so we always come up and ask for funding. And one of them said, I feel like a beggar. I come up, I feel like a beggar. We do a good job with those incredible schools, but I feel like a beggar coming up. I said, ooh, that's tough. And sort of then forgot about it as we did. I was focused on Russia hoax, and lots of other things, right? That we won. There was no collusion. I could have told them that in the first minute, Ben. But the third year they came up, I said, okay, you're here to get money again, aren't you? Yeah, and they'd come over to the White House, and I got to know them a little bit, and they were fantastic. I tell you, in particular, I had some guys in there that were phenomenal people. And I said, you're looking for money again? I said, I have an idea. Why don't we get you a 10-year plan where you have all the money you want? Give me a number, and I'm going to add some more onto it, and I'll get it approved. And I got it approved, and we took care of these incredible people. And I said, the only bad thing is that I like you guys. I may never see you again. It was very sad, actually. I said goodbye to them, and actually I've never seen them again. They don't need me anymore. But Ben knows this. You remember that period of time. It wasn't that easy to get either. And I think a lot of the politicians in Washington use that as a lever to take advantage. In other words, every year they'd have to come up, and what are you going to give me now? They don't have to they don't have to kiss anybody's ass anymore, I can tell you that. So we took care of that. A lot of people don't know that. Everybody on stage knows it. And we'll invest more in a second term. We're going to take care of them, and they really have. They've done a great job, and it's very tough. You're competing against schools that have billions and billions of dollars in endowments, and it's a tough deal. But they've done an incredible job under crooked Joe Biden. It's been nothing but it's really a catastrophe and a disaster, and you know it better. And I'm not saying this, and this is from the heart. It's been a disaster for Black Americans. Biden gave you a 3-year inflation rate of almost 39%. So over 3 years, didn't matter if you made a little bit more money. After inflation, you were way, way behind. The number of African-American families living in poverty has increased by more than 50% since the year one of his administration. Hard to say that his administration, because, you know, we got more votes than anybody in the history of a sitting president. We got millions more votes than we did in 2016. I was told by John McLaughlin and Fabrizio, the great pollsters, sir, if you can get 63 million votes, that's what we got in 16, there's no way you can be beaten. Well, we got like 75 million votes. I said, so I guess we didn't get beaten, yeah? But they said we got beaten. Now, we're going to be watching very closely. Look, we have a country that's got a lot of things going on. We have an open border. We have bad elections. We have very, very bad elections. You have to have honest elections and strong borders, or you don't have a country. You don't have a country. The average mortgage payment is now almost 2 times as high, costing the typical family an extra $19,000 a year in mortgage payments from when I was president. You and your family cannot afford 4 more years of Bidenomics. He thinks it's a good term. It's a really bad term. Anything having to do with his name is bad. That's why this November, Black Americans are going to tell, you all watch The Apprentice, right? They're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. You're fired. Get the hell out of here, You're fired. Get out of here. You've been an incompetent, horrible president. You allowed wars to go that should have never happened. Israel should have never been attacked. Ukraine should have never been attacked. You're a lousy president, worst president ever. On top of everything else, Joe Biden really has proven to be a very nasty and vicious racist. He's been a racist. Whether you like it or don't like it, I happen not to like it. Most of the people in this room happen to not like it. And if somebody does like it, they're not supposed to be here. Biden spent years palling around with notorious segregationists. You know that. He boasted that his home state was a slave state. He was very proud of that. He thought it was great. If you go back and look at his body language and the way he said it, he was very proud of it. He said that he didn't want his children to grow up in a, quote, racial jungle. I don't want my children in a racial jungle. Joe Biden drafted the 1994 crime bill, which caused unfair sentencing disparities that devastated the black community, black families. Cory Booker called Biden the architect of mass incarceration. Remember this. It was a time when Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were talking about predators and super predators. You heard that. This is a hell of a lot more of a speech than you thought you were going to get, isn't it, huh? They thought would be boring them, would give a little quick, boring speech, but it's called Let's Tell It Like It Is, right? And then years later, Tell it like it is. Thank you very much. I just want to tell the truth. Remember Howard Cosell? I just tell it like it is. It ended up getting him fired, but these are my words. And then years later, in an act of stolen valor, Crooked Joe had the nerve to falsely portray himself as a hero of the civil rights movement, which was so false. And then he said that if African Americans didn't vote for him, you ain't black. Now that one's been so recent, I didn't even want to. But he did say that. A lot of people were surprised. He did say that. But that one's so recent, I didn't even want to put it in. We had to go back to the real stuff. But he did say that. I was a little surprised to see it. I'm sure you were too. Unlike racist Joe Biden, I've spent my entire life working hand in hand with black Americans to create jobs, build buildings, invest in our communities, and expand opportunity and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And we have. I built a lot of buildings, and I want to tell you, a black worker is a great worker. You've done an incredible job. They've done an incredible job. Really talented, great people. And that goes for others too. Right. You understand that. I think that's why the black people are so much on my side now, because they see what's happening to me happens to them. Does that make sense? I've heard that. When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, you know that mugshot is number one. Elvis Presley's number two, and Frank Sinatra's. They had Frank Sinatra for fighting, and they had Elvis for, I don't know, something in a gas station. He tried to hold up a gas station. I don't know, something. Elvis. So Elvis is number two, but he was always number one. The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts, and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing. Millions, by the way, millions of these things have been sold. So I don't know if I'm proud of it or not proud of it, but anytime you can beat Elvis, that's okay, right? Over the past few years, millions of Republicans have woken up to the dangers of weaponized power in our government and our justice system, and no one knows about that better than me. When I return to the White House, I will have no higher priority than to restore fair, equal, and unbiased and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. That's for everybody in this room, everybody in this country. We share the dream of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He was great. What a speech. Where is she? Where's my beautiful? It is, I want to be able to see you. I wish they'd turn off those lights. But you are so amazing, and we've been friends so long. But we share those dreams of a nation where we are all treated equally because we're all created equal with equal rights and equal dignity in the eyes of God, and we love God. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great, great badge of honor because I'm being indicted for you, the American people. I'm being indicted for you, the black population. I am being indicted for a lot of different groups by sick people. These are sick, sick people. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom, because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you, and I'm just standing in their way. I just happen to be standing in their way from the very first day that we take back the White House. And it's going to be we are going to take back, it's not me. This is the greatest, Make America Great Again. When Biden gets up and says, we're going to stop Make America Great, I say, the guy doesn't even know what the hell it meant. If I said, Joe, what does MAGA mean? I don't know. Please tell me. I'd love to know. Make America Great Again. But right from the beginning, we take away our beautiful, cherished White House from crooked Joe Biden. I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country and the 4 greatest years for the black population. It will inure to your benefit, just as it did in my first 4 years. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled and restore peace through strength. Just like when I did the wine and just like I did with the soldiers, we will have peace. We will have peace. We're not going to let that go on. People are being brutally killed by the hundreds of thousands. The numbers are far greater than they report. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope and safety and beauty better than they have ever been before. We'll work with Democrat mayors and Democrat governors if we have to, but we're all controlled by the Democrats. But we will go in and we will straighten our cities out and we'll get rid of the crime. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean up, renovate, and rebuild our capital city so it is no longer a nightmare of murder and crime, but rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. We will clean it up and we will make it safe and we will fix the roads which have potholes and filth and garbage and the medians which have fallen into the roads. And I just wonder what foreign countries, what leaders of foreign countries think as they come into the Washington, D.C. and they see the deplorable graffiti all over the beautiful white marble columns. I will always defend Medicare and Social Security, which, as you know, Nikki is not doing a good job on that. You know, we sort of don't even talk about her anymore. It's amazing when you do badly in the polls how you don't mention people, isn't it? It's an amazing phenomenon. I hope you, Neocon, I hope you remember that tomorrow, but I will support because we have to get out and vote. We have to send the signal for November. We have to get out and vote. We have to win by big margins in Iowa. As I said, I got the largest margin in history by double. And New Hampshire, the same thing. We got the most votes in history, more than John F. Kennedy. Think of it. He's right next door. We got many more, thousands and thousands of votes more than John F. Kennedy. That's a great honor. I will support our community churches, and we will put faith and family at the center of American life. And that's a huge thing for the black community. I will fight for universal school choice so that every parent has the power to send their child to the private, public, charter, or religious school that is best for their child. I will get politics out of our classroom and focus our schools on the skills of our children. We want them to be able to graduate from school and succeed and get a great, great job. There are jobs that they're well suited to, but they don't teach that in those particular schools. I think that vocational schools are really lacking in this country. You have people, and they can make more money. They can make more money that way than they're going to make by sitting in some cubicle doing numbers, which they might not be good at, but they may be really great at the other kinds of skills. And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay with you. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment, and unlike Democrats, I will not disarm law-abiding citizens while leaving guns in the hands of violent criminals. We will protect innocent life and restore free speech, and I will secure our elections like never before. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots and voter ID, right? Voter ID. Paper ballots. You know, it'll cost about 9%. I don't know if you know that. With all the millions and millions they spend, and it's still really messed up, it will cost to have great secure elections 9% the cost of doing it the way we're doing it now. It's a scam. But until then, Republicans have to win. We just have to win. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction and harm to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration has done. He's the worst president in history. And I'm telling you, and I told you before, I would never be this harsh. I'd say, well, he's got some difficulty now. Once I got indicted, I said, wow, that's horrible. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Even the super liberal pundits said, well, they'd never indict a popular president. I got the most votes of any sitting president in history by far. So I guess that makes me popular. I watch some of these shows and they say, well, he's not popular. I said, I think I'm really popular. I have a 92% rating of the Republican Party. If I endorse somebody, it almost guarantees they're going to win. And I got to listen to these fake news people say, they usually tie me in with Biden. They usually say, these are two unpopular people. I don't think I'm unpopular, really. Then they say women don't like him. I think women like me. I think I've never had a problem. Never had a big problem. So if you want to save America, then South Carolina tomorrow, you must go out and vote. You have to do it. And in conclusion, every generation, black patriots in this state, this great state, I love this state, we've won it every time, primaries and general elections, and all across our nation have poured out their blood, sweat, and tears for our country. Black patriots fought and bled on the battlefields of the American Revolution, and they really did. When you read the history, what they gave up. They gave everything to smash the chains of slavery and preserve our nation, and they did it with incredible bravery. They helped win the Wild West, tame the skies, and save freedom in the Second World War. They're warriors. From the very beginning, black Americans have been a vital part of the American story, helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world. So true. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you for it. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, its willpower, and its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. 3 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We have to be. We have to be. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. 2024 is our final battle. With you at my side, black Americans. Again, nobody has ever seen poll numbers like this. If we could guarantee this for 9 months, we could. Do you see this? All my friends right here, you're going to be in that position that you're looking for in California, too. I predict you're doing great. But all of these incredible people, all of these people, they're so great. If we could come in just at the numbers we have now, there's no way we can be defeated. We have to come in. We have to win because we're going to lose our nation. We will demolish the deep state. We'll expel the warmongers, these stupid, crazy warmongers from our government. They want to go out and kill everybody, and they don't understand. They want to kill everybody for no reason whatsoever. Countries that don't want us, countries that have people, they're dying all over the place. We're dropping bombs all over the Middle East again. Here we go with stupid people dropping bombs. We'll drive out the globalists. We'll cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We'll throw off the sick political class that hates our country. They absolutely hate our country. And we will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House on November 5th, 2024. He's been very bad to you. He's been very, very bad to you. The great silent majority is rising like never before. And under our leadership, the forgotten men and women will be forgotten no longer. They will be forgotten no longer. They weren't forgotten during that 4-year period. It was a glorious period for our nation. Again, the best job numbers from every single group. Women, men, people with beautiful diplomas from MIT, Harvard, from the Wharton School of Finance, the greatest. People with no diploma from high school. Every single group was doing better than they had ever done before. We're a movement, and it's a big movement. It's the biggest movement in the history of our country. Make America great again, MAGA. And you are going to be the biggest part of it. I believe you could be the biggest part of it. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, everybody. We love you all. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you.